you have to look at them in their direction and think, you know, you're just gonna make it do all the work for you, and that's the reality we live in. We don't live in a reality where, oh, AI is being used to protect children. No, AI is being used to protect the pedophiles. That's the reality of the situation. I'm gonna go back to reality of the situation for a moment. I might even turn it into a series. No, but real talk, bro. Like, people will come into these spaces and debate people, honest folk that are struggling minimum wage to keep a roof over their head, to pay bills, right? Stuff that they can't do. And they will sit there and say, oh yeah, but we need to live with dictators, and we need to be bossed around, and we need to be slaves of Matrix. You want to be a slave? We don't want that. We're not. I'm not. I listen. The amount of times I go back to Tyrese, the amount of times I go back to Josh McCarthy, do you think I would have ever gone on record to admit that I love working with those guys if they only ever existed to be like, oh yeah, I come to work and I do as I'm told? That'd be boring. Yeah. But that's this generation. When you look at these streamers are boring. They bring nothing to the table. They don't bring an educational argument. Now, I'm not trying to, state this like, oh, I'm any better. Like, oh, I've got, my views are better than yours. I'm not trying to do that here. What I'm trying to say is these people live in delusion from even thinking that, you know what, we have to for the sake of the kids. For me, I'm an advocate for we do need to protect the kids. But you have to think of yourself like, if you're gonna make a video and you're gonna talk about we need to protect people online, you have to make an argument as to why, like a PowerPoint presentation. We don't see that no more. We don't see people actively going out of the way to kind of write stuff down, educate themselves, and say, you know what, I gotta raise these talking points, hold up a piece of paper, and actually give you detailed reasons to why. It's all AI will protect the kids. Artificial intelligence will do all the work for me. We can live in a government. Live in a generation. But that's what I'm saying. We don't live in a world anymore. We live in a government. We were never meant to live oppressed. We were never meant to be stressed or depressed. Yeah, we go through it as individuals, but that's because that's us. That's how we are functioning. Like, we struggle in the workplace to kind of to get through it. But when it becomes the reality, when it becomes like all you know is stress, all you know is depression, all you know is fuckery, that's when I jump in. That's when I have to come out and do my job, because these pricks can't do it, bro. They can't raise awareness like I can. I'm gonna say this once. I'm not an advocate for artificial intelligence, and I'll explain why. Because people can't give me a valid reason as to why we need it to exist. We don't need it now, and we don't need it in the future. We need to go back to a time where we do the work. We have to think. We have to show people that we put 100% in, and we encourage people around us, whether or not they feel, oh yeah, but we gotta transition, we gotta play the pronoun game and all this fuckery. We gotta shovel that. We gotta sweep all that under the rug and say, let's move on now. We live in such a generation of weakness. We do. And it's given people these rich fiends, freaks, you know, the ability to kind of get comfortable talking about people they dislike. I don't come after people. I don't talk about people I dislike. Like, people go, are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? Like Mark Burrows and Shane Taylor and Cads and all those cunts. I don't. And I'll explain why. Because I have a valid reason to talk and speak on those people specifically if they have put me in situations or put me in a position where I can no longer function or do my job. And that's reality. When you point at specific people, if, say for example, I'm reacting to a person online, all I'm going to think is they're dumb, they're stupid, they want AI, they think it's to protect the kids, whatever reason, I'm going to say that. That's not an opinion, it's a view. An opinion is talking about a superhero and thinking a superhero is better than another superhero. That's an opinion. A view is something that's actually damaging society and people are being affected. That's when my point of view comes. It comes it comes from years of, aggression, developing aggression. There was a time when I was a kid and I was the one that was being vandalized, being violated, being, disrespected, done dirty, all that bullshit. There was a time. There was a time. I have to laugh because it's like, I can't believe it ever happened or I let it happen, but it did. Yeah.